Hey guys, my name is Retzinewski, and I'm here to show you how I use RotoQL to help me build my FanDuel cash game lineup. So the first thing I'm going to do is lock in a pitcher I really like. So I'm going to go to players and go to Vegas totals and find one that has normally less than 4 opponent run projections. So that's going to give us 3 pitchers tonight. Then I'll go back to weather, and I'm extremely risk adverse, so I don't want anybody with even possible. And pretty much every single time Kershaw's on the mound, I'm just going to lock him in. He's obviously expensive tonight, but he's probably worth every penny. So I'm going to go back to Optimizer just to get a general idea of what other players I could afford and what they're going to spit out. So I see that there's going to be a lot of punts here. Most of the time, I would keep it to top 5 of the batting order, but sometimes with Kershaw, that's just not completely possible. I also have volatility way down just because I want consistent players that are going to get me a few points every night. So tonight, obviously, I'm going to need some punts, and right off the bat, we have a punt catcher for the Cubs batting 5th with a pretty good run total, and like he's a complete punt, so I would just lock him in here. And then if there's anybody like I absolutely disliked here, so I'm not going to play anybody against Madison Bumgarner, so I am just going to X these guys out here and see if I can get anything that I really, really like, or just getting a better idea of what's going to happen. So after this, I'm going to go back to players and start at like first base tonight. Obviously, David Ortiz is the top play versus a righty, but at 4,400, I don't think I'm going to be able to afford him with Clayton Kershaw. But he has just mashes right-handed pitching, one of the best hitters in the game, still at 40. But so I know that I'm not going to be able to pay for probably like the top 5 or 6 guys here. So I'm going to go down to Hanley Ramirez tonight, who's cheap, only 3,100, and he's still going to bat in the top 4 for the Red Sox. So I can't afford Poppy, but Hanram is going to have to do for tonight. So I'm going to go back and just once again see what it spits out. If there's anything I really, really like, I'll also lock them in. If not, I'm just going to keep going back into projections, insights, and players just to see who else I can like and figure out what the best plays are at each position for me. If I like somebody, but I'm not absolutely sure that I'm going to lock them in, then I would use the star button. But just because how confident I am in these 3 plays, I absolutely locked them in, and they're going to be in whatever cash game lineup I have, even if I have to full-on punt a few other positions. So I'm going to go to outfield now, and there's normally a few outfielders that are just significantly underpriced. So we go to outfield and sort by salary under 3,000. It will give us some good punt options to look through. So here we have guys in the top 3 and 4 of the batting order with higher projections that are just significantly underpriced. So right here, Nomar Mazara, it's a little bit volatile, which I don't like, but it's only 2,800 and he's batting 3rd in a game with a high over-under. So I'm just going to go ahead and lock him in. It's going to be a cheap, easy play. And then I also see right off the bat that Pagan versus Jeff Locke, who's not a good pitcher at all, batting leadoff, 2,600. I'm also going to lock him in. And then I'm going to go back to the optimizer and just see if I can get anything that I like. So right off the bat, my lineup is starting to come together. I have a few positions left that I still have one guy who I can absolutely pay up for. Longoria is in a great spot tonight. I'm not sure I want to pay up at 3rd. So I'm going to go back and dig into some second baseman, some third baseman a little bit more, and see if there's anybody I absolutely love that I need to lock in before I start looking for a punt somewhere else. So I'm going to go to look at some WOBAs, just scroll down, see if any numbers absolutely pop off the page that I need to have, and if not, I'm going to sort up here by top 5 in the batting order. So it limits my list significantly. And then here we have Robinson Cano batting third in the highest over-under of the night against Mike Pelfrey, who's just absolutely horrible. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in for tonight, and knowing that he's going to be my one pay up that I have left, and I'm probably going to have to punt at a few other positions. So if I come back out, I have 2 players at 2,500 and 1 player at 2,300, and obviously that's not ideal, but that's sacrifices you have to make when you have a lot of players that you absolutely love. So going back to shortstop now, I would once again try to find somebody in the top 5 in the batting order, and I'm also going to limit them to under $3,000 because I need a cheap play. And we can see Tim Anderson's our only shortstop under 3,000 in the top 5. So maybe see if there's any in the top 6 in a better position. So Trevor Story tonight is somebody I actually love. Paul Clemens is a journeyman. The Marlins bullpen is horrible right now. Their best 3 arms have thrown the past 3 days. So I actually, even though he's batting 5th, Steven Wright's not somebody I absolutely want to pick on. So knowing he's only 300 more, and even though Story is a little bit volatile, I take some risks in my cash games, and this is going to be one of them that I will take. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in and go back to the optimizer and see what I'm getting. So it could not generate 20 lineups, which is fine because I know I only have 2 spots left and they're going to be full-on punts. So we have third base and outfield, and we need 2 full-on punts. So I'm just going to scroll down and see what players that they spit out that I like, if any. And so right away I see Pena here. Once again, going up against Jeff Locke, not a very good pitcher. Batting 6th, which really isn't that bad for a 2K punt. He's 2,200, but so I'm going to be fine with that. I know outfield is going to be an absolute punt after this, but that's going to be my third baseman. And so now I have one person. Right, sorry, I got a text. So tonight I'm going to go back to outfield now in players and see if I have anybody that I could play for under $2,300. Alright, so obviously I'm very limited in my decisions here. I have 6 guys who I can choose from to fill out my roster. Taylor is going up against Kershaw, who's also my own pitcher, so I have no interest in him whatsoever, so I'm going to X him out. Going to go back and once again, not that interested in picking on Steven Wright, so Coates probably won't be my guy tonight, and I'm going to end up on Steven Moya. He's a top prospect. He's only 2,300. Facing Nate Carnes, not a great pitcher, but batting 7th, high over under. So I'm just going to lock him in, and when I go back to my optimizer, I have every single person that I wanted, and this ended up being the lineup that I played tonight. I have Kershaw, everybody. Hopefully, they end up doing better than this, but it's just a quick walkthrough of how I go through my process